Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. When Finn presses Luna for the truth, Poppy reveals her hidden secret. According to the teaser video for the week of January 27th to 31st, spoilers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Ridge Forrester and Taylor Hayes will speak with Steffy Forrester over her impending anniversary. Steffy might be planning a celebration because she will be excited to see her hubby. Steffy may wish that this evening will be particularly memorable, even though she and John Finnegan never need an occasion to sparkle. Unfortunately, while Lee Finnegan gives him an update on the drama that just occurred in her office, Finn's thoughts will be on more pressing issues. Lee became upset and begged for forgiveness after the paternity test revealed that Jack Finnegan is not Luna Nozawa's biological father. After Lee finished pushing Poppy Nozawa away, they had a lovely moment together and became sisters. Later on, though, Lee will realize that they still don't know the identity of Luna's father. It will appear as though things are moving forward for Finn when Lee considers that enigma and fills him in. Later on, Finn will insist on meeting Poppy in his office so he may question her about the past and Luna's paternity. Finn will believe she already knows the answer, but Poppy will question why he is asking all these questions. In B&B's weekly teaser video, Finn states sternly, "You know why, Poppy." We'll see if that is the hidden secret that is eventually exposed, but the show certainly gives the impression that Finn may have slept with Poppy and fathered Luna. Luna will keep in touch with Bill Spencer at the Spencer estate. Luna will believe she can assist Bill in resolving his personal issues because they seem to understand one another. Stay tuned to see who finds out first. According to our B&B predictions, Luna's paternity story will reveal her new living situation. According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, the revelation of Luna's real father and her shocking house arrest will eventually cause a stir. Sheila overheard Jack and Poppy talking about who really fathered Luna. According to Monday, January 27th, spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Jack Finnegan and Poppy Nozawa will go to Il Giardino together, which will allow them to discuss the commotion surrounding the paternity test that has occurred. Since Poppy never had sex with Jack, who is not the father of Luna Nozawa, Lee Finnegan was shown to be mistaken. Jack may believe that this would be a new beginning for them all because he was moved to tears when Lee expressed regret and reconciled with her sister. But it appears that Jack may be more aware of Luna's paternity than he is admitting. In Lee's office, Jack and Poppy continued to exchange odd glances, as if they had agreed at some point to conceal Luna's true father. To put it another way, Jack may know who is Luna's biological father, but he is not. B&B is implying that John Finnegan is actually Luna's father. Perhaps Jack learned of this years ago and decided to assist Poppy in keeping it a secret. According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Sheila will interrupt Jack and Poppy's talk at the restaurant, so she might be curious about the purpose of their private encounter. Sheila might become concerned and decide to investigate if she hears Finn's name. Given her propensity for stirring up trouble, our forecasts suggest that Sheila will meddle in Poppy and Jack's affairs. She will discuss all of the Finnegan family turmoil with Taylor Hayes and Ridge Forrester over with Steffy Forrester. Steffy might bring up her recent conversation with Finn on Jack's strained relationship with Lee and the secrets that caused everything to fall apart. Since Steffy has complete faith in Finn, she could be relieved that there are no secrets that could ruin her own marriage. Regretfully, Steffy might soon be left reeling by a shocking revelation. Finn's relationship with Steffy is likely to suffer if it turns out that he is actually Luna's biological father. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Finn and Steffy will face challenges in the future. Stay back for more information on these difficult times. Sheila vs. Poppy, Taylor's assistants, and Steffy's family issues. Here are the spoilers for Monday, January 27th, 2025's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. You may anticipate Sheila Carter-Sharp forcing a confrontation between Penelope Poppy Nozawa and Jack Finnegan in the upcoming episode. Amid the Finnegan family issues, Steffy Forrester Finnegan receives support from Taylor Hayes and Ridge Forrester. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Jack Finnegan's DNA test. On Monday, January 27th, B&B spoilers indicate that Lee Finnegan was certain that Jack was the biological father of Luna Nozawa. But Jack and Luna were not father and daughter according to the forced paternity test. even though Lee had to express regret to Jack and Poppy, the mystery remains unsolved. Spoilers for B&B, John Finnegan's finding. Lee will speak with John Finnegan on Monday, January 27th, to discuss the paternity test. Lee acknowledges to Finn that she made up the story that Jack and Poppy had an affair and had created Luna together. Lee informs Finn that they still have a puzzle to solve even after Jack and Poppy were exonerated. Who is Luna's biological father? Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Sheila Carter's forcible run-in. According to Monday, January 27th, spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Sheila ultimately forces a confrontation with Jack and Poppy. Sheila apparently learns about the paternity test as well. Sheila might try to get involved because Finn is her biological son with Jack. Sheila has been acting appropriately for a long time. What then will Sheila do regarding the Jack/Poppy situation? Would Sheila eventually find out about Bill Spencer's covert visitor? What is the ultimate impact of Lee's research on Luna? B&B spoilers for January 27, 2025, Monday. Fans will also witness Taylor and Ridge cuddling while speaking with Steffi on Monday, January 27th. Taylor mentions that Steffi's wedding anniversary is approaching. Steffi informs her parents that she wants to spend her anniversary with Finn while grinning. But Steffi points out that the Finnegans appear to have some family issues. According to a sneak peek, Finn might be Luna's biological father. Finn actually questions Poppy. Could Finn be Luna's father, therefore, or is this just another unexpected turn of events? Let's hope for a different result because many people are not happy with the prospect. Everyone involved in the maelstrom of lying, mistrust, and manipulation that had dominated their lives had been anxiously awaiting the paternity test results. But nobody could have predicted the unexpected turn of events when the startling truth came to light: Jack Finnegan was not Luna's father. The revelation was devastating and completely terrifying for Poppy, the brain behind the many levels of deception and deflection. Poppy had exerted every effort to keep the story under control since Lee insisted on a paternity test. She had manipulated everyone around her by making up stories, avoiding accusations, and using her charm a lot. Poppy had always taken pleasure in her ability to keep ahead of the game, but she felt like the walls were closing in on her as Jack's DNA test approached. Nevertheless, she had held on to the hope that the findings would somehow support the narrative she had told everyone. It was like a bomb going off in the middle of an already tense scenario when the test results were eventually revealed. Jack sat in stunned silence as the realization dawned on him after he had been struggling with the idea of being Luna's father. He had no biological relationship to Luna, as the DNA test unequivocally demonstrated. Quickly, a mixture of relief and betrayal took the place of Jack's disbelief. He was relieved that he wasn't connected to Poppy via a child, but he felt betrayed by the extent of the deceit she had used to control him. At first, it was impossible to discern Lee's expression across the room. Although she had braced herself for the possibility that Jack was Luna's father, this information presented a whole new set of problems. Who else could have been Luna's father except than Jack? Lee became tense because to the ambiguity, and her suspicions turned to Poppy, who was now clearly losing her mind. It was like a nightmare come true for Poppy. She could feel the critical gazes of everyone in the room weighing down on her as her carefully crafted facade began to fall apart. She stumbled as she tried to think of something to explain, but her words were not coherent. Clutching at straws, she mumbled, This doesn't make sense. The test must contain some errors. Lee, however, would not have it. Her voice was sharp and icy as she took a step forward. Poppy, there's no error. The exam is precise. It's time for the truth, because you have been deceiving us from the beginning. Who is the father of Luna? Poppy's thoughts were racing as she froze. She had always depended on her ability to think quickly to get out of difficult situations, but this time she felt trapped. Luna had carefully protected the truth about her paternity, and disclosing it now would not only damage her reputation but also leave her vulnerable to the people she had harmed. Still in shock over the revelation, Jack went to Poppy with such passion that she recoiled. You owe us the truth, he continued in a menacingly low voice. No more games or falsehoods. Poppy, who is the father? Their demands were oppressive, and Poppy could feel her poise eroding more and more every second. She looked to Finn, who had been observing the event with a mixture of fear and bewilderment. Since Luna's arrival, Finn had been attempting to piece together the truth about her, and now he couldn't get rid of the sensation that he was going to get further caught up in Poppy's web. As she turned to go, Poppy stated in a broken voice, I can't do this. Lee, however, was not going to allow her to go away. She blocked Poppy's progress by stepping in front of her. This is something you can't ignore, Lee stated forcefully. Not in light of all that you have done to this family. I'll make sure you regret it if you don't tell the truth. Poppy felt her spine tingle at the danger in Lee's voice. Lee wasn't bluffing, she knew. Poppy was confident that the strong woman would keep her word, as she had already demonstrated that she would stop at nothing to keep her family safe. Finally, with no escape, Poppy cracked. She exhaled a trembling breath and her shoulders drooped. All right, she murmured, scarcely raising her voice above a whisper. I'll be honest with you. However, you won't enjoy it. As everyone awaited Poppy's confession, the room became quiet. Poppy could feel the pressure of their expectations bearing down on her, and the tension was evident. There was nothing she could do to lessen the blow, so she paused, searching for the proper words. Poppy's voice was shaking as she started, the truth is. Luna's father is Finn. The realization struck like a jolt. Finn stepped back as if the words had physically hit him, and his eyes widened in disbelief. What? His voice was hardly audible as he spoke. Poppy gave him a look that was a mixture of desperation and shame. It was an error, she murmured hastily. It happened even though it wasn't expected to. Luna is your daughter, too. Chaos broke out in the room. Lee, Jack, and even Steffi, who had been seeing the spectacle from the sidelines, barraged Finn with questions. Lee was incensed and demanded to know how Poppy managed to maintain such a significant secret. Jack felt that he had been pulled into a mess that had nothing to do with him, and he was furious. Additionally, Finn was having a hard time processing the shocking revelation that had just been revealed to him. The repercussions was too much for Poppy. She had invested a great deal of time and effort into trying to steer the story, but now that it was all in the open, she was vulnerable to the people she had harmed. She was aware that the harm she had done could not be repaired, and the prospect of having to deal with the fallout was nearly unbearable. As the dust settled, it became evident that the disclosure would have a significant impact on all parties. Having always been an intense guardian of her family, Lee now had to deal with the reality that her son had a child with a woman she hated. After being forced to participate in the drama against his will, Jack began to doubt his place in the family and his ability to ever fully recover from the mayhem. And Finn, who had always been the family's pillar, was suddenly put in a position that would put his fortitude and will to the ultimate test. Poppy, on the other hand, was aware that her days of duplicity and manipulation were finished. There was no turning back now that the truth was out. Now, her only option was to hope that she could somehow mend the bridges she had destroyed and show everyone, especially Finn, that she was more than the sum of her errors. However, one thing was for sure, everything had changed when it was discovered that Finn, not Jack, was Luna's father. The future was full of obstacles and uncertainty, and the Finnegan family would never be the same. But in the midst of the mayhem, there was still hope for healing and redemption, a chance to start over, no matter how difficult the road ahead might be. The tense atmosphere in the room was oppressive. Finn was at his breaking point at last. He had come to this point after months of Poppy's evasions, half-truths, and cryptic comments. This time, he wasn't going anywhere without answers. His clenched jaw and sharp eyes were fixed on Poppy, whose normally composed demeanor was now clearly breaking under the strain of his demands. Finn's voice was a mixture of resolution and exasperation as he stated, "Poppy, you've been avoiding this for far too long. I've finished my gaming. I want the whole truth about Luna. No more excuses, no more lies." Poppy's throat tightened with breath. Although she had anticipated this day would arrive someday, she hadn't anticipated it to hit her so hard. Finn's earnestness made it impossible for her to use her typical charm, the trained ease with which she had previously avoided awkward talks. Poppy stumbled, I I don't know what you mean, and stepped back, as though the physical separation would shield her from the mental tempest that was building between them. Finn didn't believe it. Avoid doing that, he yelled. Don't pretend that you have no idea what I'm talking about. Luna is more than just a girl who happened to cross our path. The reason she is here is something I have a right to know. Poppy paused, searching for a way out. She sensed that everyone in the room, including Lee, Jack, and Steffi, was watching her intently, waiting for her to lose it. The secret she had buried so deeply scared her more than their judgment, but the pressure was too much to bear. Everything would be different if Finn and everyone else understood the truth. Finn, Poppy said, her voice trailing off. It's not that easy. With you, it's never that easy, is it? Finn retorted, his annoyance erupting. Ever since Luna entered that room, you have been concealing something. Do you know what it's been like to try to put this puzzle together while you keep putting obstacles in the way? Poppy, I deserve better than this. Luna is worthy of better. At his words, Poppy winced, feeling the weight of his disappointment strike her like a ton of bricks. Although she had always taken great satisfaction in being in charge, she felt totally helpless just now. She knew there was no evading Finn's unrelenting, uncompromising determination, which was like a force of nature. After standing quietly in the corner, Steffi finally said something. With an impatient rather than empathetic tone, she added, Poppy, just tell him. No matter what you're hiding, the longer you keep it to yourself, the worse it will get. Poppy looked at Steffi with beseeching eyes. You don't comprehend, she whispered in desperation. Everything will be destroyed if I tell him the truth. Everything is already collapsing, Steffi said, frank. Instead of dragging him along with falsehoods, at least give him the opportunity to deal with the truth. Finn crossed his arms while maintaining a fixed gaze. He said, she's right. I'm going to find out, somehow, what you're hiding. Therefore, you may either inform me right away or I'll find out on my own. Your decision. Poppy's heart fell. It was a very different experience to see it aimed at her, even though she had always known Finn was unrelenting in his efforts to defend those he loved. Her carefully woven web of falsehoods was coming apart, one thread at a time, and she could feel the walls closing in. Poppy finally murmured, all right, in a voice that was almost audible above a whisper. You're looking for the truth? Here it is. Everyone in the room held their breath, waiting for her to confess, and the room fell silent. Poppy shut her eyes, bracing herself for her next statement. She opened them once more and looked directly at Finn, her face displaying a mixture of remorse and acceptance. Her words came out like a boulder slamming down a mountainside, Luna is your daughter. It was an instant shock. With wide, incredulous eyes, Finn stepped back. What? His voice was hardly audible as he spoke. Poppy nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. That's accurate, she stated. Your biological daughter is Luna. Chaos broke out in the room. As Lee tried to take in the information, she let out an audible gasp and put her palm to her lips. As Jack turned to Poppy, his face clouded, displaying a mix of betrayal and rage. His voice was low and menacing as he replied, you lied to us. You lied all along. With her thoughts rushing to consider the ramifications, Steffi glanced between Finn and Poppy. How on earth is it possible? Her tone was stern as she inquired. Did you know about this, Finn? No, replied Finn hastily, his voice shaking with emotion. He went back to Poppy and said, I had no idea. His face was a mixture of sadness and rage. What kept you from telling me? He insisted. Why would you withhold this information from me? Poppy's shoulders drooped as she felt the pressure of her remorse. She said, I was afraid. I was at a loss for what to do when I discovered I was pregnant. After that, things became really complex. I now realize how much harm I caused, even though I believed that by keeping it a secret, I was saving Luna. Finn raked a hand through his hair, trying to make sense of everything while his thoughts raced. With sorrow in his voice, he remarked, so all this time, Luna's been here, right under my nose, and I didn't even know she was my daughter. Poppy, do you know what you've taken from me? From her? With tears running down her cheeks, Poppy nodded. I understand, she said. And I really apologize, Finn. I didn't mean to offend you. I simply couldn't figure out how to tell you. At last, Lee, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. Her tone was harsh and icy as she stated, you had no right to make that decision for him. You denied him the opportunity to have his own child. Are you aware of how self-centered that is? Poppy looked to Lee, a beseeching look on her face. She acknowledged that she had made a mistake. But right now, I'm attempting to make it. Just give me a chance to make this right, please. Repair this, Lee reiterated, her tone brimming with irony. You believe you can simply repair this? Poppy, you have destroyed this family. I'm not sure whether you can ever recover from that. With a calm yet forceful voice, Finn took a step forward. His eyes never left Poppy as he said, I need some time to process this. But don't be misled, I will now play a role in Luna's life. No more lies, no more secrets. Poppy gave a nod, her heart exploding in Finn's gaze. I comprehend, she muttered. And I'll go to any lengths to put things right. Everyone felt the weight of the situation as Finn turned and left the room. The road ahead was unpredictable and full with obstacles, but at last the truth was out. Finn saw the disclosure as both an opportunity to parent Luna and a sobering reminder of the deceptions and treachery that had led them to this point. It served as a wake-up call for Poppy, an opportunity to face the repercussions of her behavior and attempt to mend the rift she had caused. It was also a moment of reckoning for the entire Finnegan family, a turning point that would influence their future in ways that none of them could have predicted. The backlash was just getting started, but the truth had been revealed.